Welcome back to the channel. This is the Casuals. I'm Jin,
And I'm Saki.
and today's episode is Impractical Questions. And today's episode is actually going to be a more special edition, which is for the next two episodes actually. This one and the next one. We are finally getting close to the end of the series. What we mean by that is we are finally reaching the end of the list that Saki currently has. Which is 200 questions, and we're at question number 161. And so, based on, the cycles we have left for this, I guess, end of the year, we decided that it would be best to condense 20 questions into one episode instead of the usual 10. That way we can ensure that we do meet the end of the year, kind of like finish, right? But yeah, this one will be a little bit longer than usual. Hopefully it's enjoyable for you all. And because it's going to take a long time, I guess we get straight to it.
Sounds good. All right, first question of the second to last episode. Why are chickpeas called chickpeas when they're neither chicks or peas?
Because someone mistakenly thought that pea came out of chicken's butt. So they were like, that's a chickpea.
But for me, at least, when I hear chickpea, I'm thinking of like a chicken peeing, not like pooping out a little thing.
I mean, have you ever heard of the animal coffee that like the animal poops out?
Coffee that an animal poops out?
Yeah, so they feed this animal like coffee beans, and then it poops it out, and then they clean that up and use it as coffee.
Oh, what in the world? No, I've never heard of that, and I hope I've never had that.
It's a super hyper generalization, like kind of like I'm sure there's more that goes into it, but basically they use an animal to eat coffee or whatever or something like that, and then they make it poop it out, and then they use that. Apparently, it's a very nice coffee. I will never try it. Mainly because I'm not a coffee drinker, and two, it just kind of sounds weird to drink that. But not against the people who actually drink it. But I thought of that when you were saying, like, neither chick or pea. I'm like, maybe they pooped it out then.
I'm sorry. I just going on that coffee thing. I don't think I want to try that coffee. That just sounds awful. I know you said they clean it and stuff for human consumption, but still, ugh.
Imagine they don't clean
it. Even worse. Oh.
Oh man, that's to think about. But yeah, going back to my response, yeah, that's what I immediately thought of when you were asking that question, and so I thought of that. Aren't chickpeas called like some other names too? I believe they're called like garbanzo beans too, or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're also called garbanzo beans. Like, where the heck did they get that name?
It has to be some sort of mistranslation.
I was gonna say someone looked at that and went, "Yep, that's a garbanzo bean."
Many things in life had names that didn't make any sense whatsoever on how they came to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out. I'm sure if we just look it up as to why they're called chickpeas, there's some logical explanation as to how it got there.
Probably, but I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to Google it. So I like that.
Maybe it's better to be left as a mystery.
Yep, some things are better left as mysteries, and I think this is one of those. Anyways, I guess we'll leave that a mystery. Let's move on to our second question, which is, what is the difference between a wise man and a wise guy?
The wise man is old. The wise guy is foolish. Because isn't wise guys used as an actual insult? Like, look at this wise guy, or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like he's acting as if he knows it all, but in reality he knows nothing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
And then the wise men is like an actual well, in this context, it would be an actual person who has knowledge and the ability to translate that knowledge into something, I guess, useful. Is how I interpret the differences between a wise man and wise guy.
Yeah, I think wise guy is more of an insult.
Imagine you're just happily, you feel like you're being like complimented, being called a wise guy. Turns out, it's just an actual insult to you.
Yeah, I think that's a literal insult. You're like, look at this wise guy, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, because you don't hear people saying, "Look at this wise man" in a sarcastic way.
Yeah, yeah, wise guy I think is the insult versions. Yeah, that makes sense.
Keep that out of mind, people. Keep that out in mind.
We'll move on to what would happen if two private investigators followed each other.
Oh, you. I did not watch this video exactly, but apparently, well, results would vary, right, depending on the skill of the private investigator.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard that some interesting things can come out of it. And so there was a video of a guy. The guy made a video where he hired two private investigators to, I believe it was to look into each other, or it was to look into him. And then he kind of gave them like notice that there was another one following him, and they had to like figure out what was going on. I didn't watch the video entirely just because I felt like it was a little weird. But someone has actually done that before.
I'm actually not surprised.
Very interesting video. At least the one where he hired a private investigator, because he first did. The first video was him just hiring a private investigator to investigate him, and then the second one was doing the two private investigators, and I don't know exactly how it went down. I don't exactly remember, but it was an interesting thing.
All right then.
I'll share it to you.
I was gonna say my brain just like stopped working.
I don't blame you.
All right, I'm gonna move on because my brain can't handle that question for some reason anymore. Next one is, why are there self-help groups if it's supposed to be self-help?
You know, the identity of one can equal many. Function as a group, move as a group, have self-identification after, converging with the group, all becomes one, yada yada yada. Real answer, I think it's just because there's only so much you can do when you have so many people to help, I guess. So that's why it's just a self-help group.
Okay.
I think also it's like, if you are truly needing a private session, I think you are better off going to a therapist. Or like an actual, like, private professional. I think self-help groups are more of like a general, like, kind of like, here's a baseline of things that, generally are viewed as a good way of improving yourself. Follow that. If that works for you, good for you. If not, then I guess you would have to go a step further and maybe seek out professional help. Even more, like, or more private professional help.
Yeah, okay, that I can see that. Yeah. I think maybe how was I gonna explain it? I lost it. It was I was gonna piggyback off of what you were saying when, like, you go to a self-help group and then, like, if it works for you, great.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, if it doesn't, I guess, like, no harm done, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I guess like maybe more generalized help.
Definitely. I think that's how it really functions.
All right, all right. We got to get through these, I know, so we'll try to keep it moving.
Hmm.
Next one is when the U.S. landed on the moon and Neil Armstrong planted the American flag. Was the person who took the photo like the first person to actually be on the moon, or how did that work?
They had cameras on the spaceship.
But the picture, like the common picture, the spaceship's in the background, or they're like, what is it called, the little landing
Oh,
like
so are
space?
you talking about the first person to?
Because like in the photo,
Uh huh.
it's the I don't know what it's actually called, but let's just say the spaceship for this video.
Hmm.
The spaceship's in the background, and then it shows him putting the flag in. So how was the photo taken?
Oh, if I remember correctly, they brought cameras and then they set it up as like they put it on a stand or something like that. Like they stuck it into the ground and then they push record and then they just went on about their day or their time doing all that.
So then Neil would have had to put the camera in the ground
I would
because
assume
if
so.
I was gonna say if someone else did it, then technically he wasn't the first person.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So how do I say this? How do I explain this? So there are cameras. No, wait. Did it? No, that didn't how it worked. All I
Oh yeah.
remember is that there were remote cameras on that prior to someone coming out. Um, it could have been that when it was landing, it ejected it, but that still wouldn't make any sense because that would be way too much of a precision thing. I'm pretty sure it was part of the like the actual shuttle, and then it recorded that way.
Hmm. All right. Yeah, I probably overthought that one.
Because I do understand where you're coming from, and what I think happened was when the space shuttle landed, and uh, it was Neil Armstrong who made the first steps. When he made the first steps, that was still um, recorded by the camera in the space shuttle. But then once they all came out, someone had the camera and then put it in that view, in that wide shot view, including the entire space shuttle.
Okay. Then they just made that one the more popular,
Yeah, that probably was the more popular one.
controversial photo.
Yeah.
Okay, that would make sense, I guess. Yeah, I just overthought that one. So yeah, I remember I saw that photo. I'm like, how was that photo taken if he was supposed to be the first person?
Yeah, it probably was just like a generalized event, or like photo to describe the event.
I think to describe him putting the flag, right?
Uh huh.
Okay, that makes more sense to me now. All right, moving on. Why is abbreviated such a long word?
Because it is a slightly lesser version of abbreviation. I don't.
True. Still, they're both long words. Because when you abbreviate something, it shortens it, but like, it's still such a long word. But
I guess you. I guess it was to make a formal definition of abbreviating a word rather than you can't say shortened. Because shortened is like so abbreviated is specifically for words. But when you say shortened, it can be applied to a lot of different things.
okay, I see where you're coming. I see. I see.
Yeah, so I think that's just how it came about.
I understand. All right, well, that was a good one. Anyways, next one is: are the songs "It's Raining Men" and "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" the same event told from different perspectives?
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. So the songs "It's Raining Men"
Uh huh.
and "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor"
Uh huh.
are they the same event told from different perspectives?
Yes. Absolutely. There's no other explanation. There's no other explanation needed. It's just yes. Let
All
it be
right.
known that hit the make the bodies hit the floor and It's Raining Men are the same exact events, just different perspectives.
And we leave it at that. You cannot question us. All right, let's actually go on, I guess. Uh, Next one is. Oh Lord. Okay, hold on. Okay. How can everything come from nothing when nothing is something that has nothing to do with anything?
What?
Yeah, it was confusing saying it.
I'm gonna need you to explain
Let
this
me
to
try
me.
that. Okay, let me try that again. Okay. How can everything come from nothing when nothing is something that has nothing to do with anything?
So, based on
Did
the
I?
very first phrase, I feel like that's already false because everything cannot come from nothing. Because everything. You cannot make something out of nothing, if that makes sense. It's simply just like you cannot create something out of thin air. There's always something there's a component that has to be made in order to make something. So there truly is nothing in a weird sense. The nothing as a concept technically shouldn't exist in a, I guess, pure base form of like molecular science because there's always something, which is really strange to think about.
Yeah, my head hurt before this. But it hurts even more now.
Let's just leave it as the laws of physics do not apply in this statement.
Yeah, I was on something
You were certainly on something.
because that sense doesn't make, or it's not even a that question doesn't make sense in many different spots of the question. All right, I'm gonna
Interesting.
skip it if that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go on to a normal question. Well, none of these are normal, but a different question. Are there crash courses for pilots?
Yes. You gotta have them prepared, man. You know, one day your plane's gonna go down and you gotta be the man.
You are not wrong.
And I think there is an actual crash course for pilots because they do generally need to understand how to land a plane in cases of emergencies.
Oh yeah, no, that's probably like just like 101.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Pilot.
Basics.
It's 101 for pilots, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys call it. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'd assume there is a crash course. There has to be. Like you said, in case of an emergency, they have to be prepared.
Hmm.
All right, I guess our next one is why is saliva called spit when it comes from an awake person, but drool when you're asleep?
I thought saliva was still called saliva. It's just spit is when it actually like gets flung out. Because you technically could still drool when you're awake. Like you're drooling over food.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've never drooled over food, or drooled, I guess, when I'm awake.
But
I know I have when I was asleep when I was a kid, but
I guess it's more of an adjective depending on the context, right? So like spit is like forcefully shooting it out, while drool is kind of like unwillingly letting it come out. But it both comes from saliva. It's like, I guess, Eevee evolution, right? There's the base form Eevee, which is saliva, and there's a water Eevee that's spit, and then there's Earth Eevee. I don't freaking know Pokemon that well. That's drool.
okay, yeah, it gets different forms of saliva.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense than what I was probably thinking.
It's okay. We all think of silly questions all the time.
Yeah, I came up with 200 though. Anyways, okay. Would Fed Up be the new name of the company if FedEx and UPS merge?
Yeah. I think that's a great idea, dude.
We need to get them to merge. Just be called Fed Up.
100%, dude. Someone's definitely thinking about that at one of those companies. Like, dude, if we ever merge, dude, we gotta call ourselves Fed Up.
That's like the only way, right? What else would you call it?
Hmm. Yeah, you can't really think of any.
Nothing that would be, funny, at least.
Yeah. Fed Up. That's so dumb. Even I
What's
haven't thought
funny
about
was,
that one.
well, I forget, it was a long time ago in my family, but someone said that same question to one of my uncles. He's like, "Did you know FedEx and UPS merged and they're called Fed Up now?" Like, and my uncle believed him. He goes, "No shit, really?" Like, he believed it too. I'm like, so it does work.
Seems so.
So yeah, if you guys merge, Fed Up, we should get some type of recognition for that one.
Pay us royalties, please.
That'd be nice. All right, moving along. Since rabbits don't lay eggs, why does the Easter Bunny come with eggs?
Because he stole them. I mean, think about it. Do you think the Easter Bunny really wants to give his children away? Nah. He's gonna just steal the bird next to him and just be like, here you go, this is my babies. Ain't no way he would do that, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's a lot of birds' nests you gotta get.
I'm sure he has a buddy that can produce a lot of eggs. Or maybe, just like Santa, he has a factory.
Oh, there you go. He just has like a bunch of chickens lined up or something.
Yeah. And then he could, like, well, but actually, I'd be going too far with that, so let's leave it at that.
All right.
Let's not go there.
Okay, I feel like this next question's like kind of stupid, like you'd know right away, but do we really know? Okay.
Okay.
Do we really know the reason why the chicken wanted to cross the road?
We don't. Because why was it asked in the first place?
True. Why did the chicken want to cross the road?
Because if you think about it, someone would have never asked a question if we always knew.
True. Very true.
So no matter what answer comes out of that, we will never know. We will always just say, because it was asked in the first place, we'll never know.
Maybe it didn't. Maybe its goal was more than to get to the other side.
Who knows? Who knows?
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
Tears!
Okay, let's keep going. We're almost there. If a person suffering from amnesia was suddenly cured, would they remember that they had no memory?
I feel like, yeah, they would.
They would just be, oh yeah, there was this time in my life where I just can't remember anything.
Yeah, I think you would actually remember that you couldn't remember anything. Because I remember. It's not amnesia, but it's more like I tried remembering something and I couldn't remember for the longest time of me. And then suddenly I remembered it. And I was so relieved that I was able to remember it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think your body would automatically start, like, feeling relief. I feel like. Because your body's now familiar, or, like, dealing with familiar things, you know? So I think, yes, they would actually remember that they had that gap in their memory.
That's interesting. I kind of want to know, like, for, like, actually, like, ask a person that if this happened to someone.
Yeah. Amnesiacs are very, very rare. Like, it is extremely rare for it to happen. And I don't think having, like, let's say dementia counts as amnesia. Because I think dementia is more like brain degradation. Like, truly
Right.
having amnesia is actually, like, genuinely rare.
I think, yeah, I was gonna say, I think that is pretty rare.
So, who knows, you know? There's only so many people that we can probably find that actually has genuine amnesia. And then for them to also remember their forgotten memories is a whole different ordeal, too.
Ooh, more complicated than I was thinking. Oh.
Yeah. Kind of wild to think about.
All right, I guess our next question. Why do the words overlook and oversee mean different things when look and see are nearly synonyms?
I wonder if it's because overlook is more similar to an action versus overseas being more similar to a kind of like description. But then again, overseas does get used as a verb or like an action too. But I feel like it's more commonly associated as a description. If you know what I mean, like you don't say people like who like supervises people like, oh, he overlooks people. It's more like, oh yeah, he oversees people.
True. I was trying to think of like like using those two words in sentences to see if I can make them different.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's there. Maybe it truly is like it doesn't matter which one you use, but it's just a matter of preference at this point for people.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at the next question. I'm not even looking at our current question anymore.
We should get next to it then.
I just read the next one because I was trying to find the question again, and I read the one below it. Anyway, should we just move on, or do we
Yes.
want to? Oh, okay. The next question. Do you think that if you hold in your farts and it goes to your brain, like that's where shitty thoughts come from?
Yes, absolutely. There's no other. That's the perfect explanation. There's no need to go any further.
No, that's it. That's all you need. That's it.
Truly, what a beautiful statement.
I think that's probably one of my favorite questions on here, and this whole list. I forgot about that one. We just leave it at that.
Yep.
You can't even argue it. It's just you're wrong.
Yep.
All right, next one. If you made a hiking playlist that had music from Peanuts, the Cranberries, and Eminem, can you call it your trail mix?
Yes.
Did you know where I was going with that?
Yes. The moment you said cranberry, I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, am I that predictable?
No, that one was just like it was a very good setup, but like I just immediately knew where you were going with. It just clicked with me.
See, great minds think alike.
Indeed.
So yes, it is called your trail mix, by the way.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, that's fun. This next one's a pretty good one too. If the stork is the bird that delivers babies, then is the swallow the bird that prevents babies?
Yes.
Oh my god, what was I on?
Some sort of drug, apparently.
There's no way I came up with two bangers of questions. Like
You were on something that day.
so, is the swallow prevent babies then?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. These are all interesting questions. We're almost done.
Mm-hmm.
So our next one. If you get turned on by dirty talk, does that mean your genitals are voice activated?
Yes. That's another banger.
At the 4 in a row.
My god, I can't even argue against that one.
I would say they are.
Yeah, they are.
I would say if you get turned on by dirty talk, you're voice activated down there. All right. And our last one. Oh my god. Okay, our last one. Why isn't there a pregnant Barbie doll? Is it because Ken came in a different box?
Yes. Absolutely. They were separated so they didn't have a chance to make a baby.
And that's why there are no pregnant Barbie dolls. But there are Barbie dolls like with what are those called? Like the fake appendages that like the fake legs and stuff that they make
Prosthetics?
for prosthetics. There you go. Those exist though.
Indeed. But not pregnant. You don't wanna go there.
Yeah, I've not personally seen a pregnant Barbie doll.
I would hope to never see one.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do make one though.
Yeah.
Seems like something they would do if they're doing like prosthetic ones and stuff like that.
I don't want to venture off in that world, so I'll try and forget about that suggestion.
Okay. Well then, I guess we should stop there because that was technically our 20th question.
Nice. So You had a lot of bangers at the end there.
The last 4 of 5, man, bangers.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh. Freaking voice activated. That's so dumb. Uh. Oh man. So that was, the second to last episode. The next time you see or see our impractical questions episode, it will be the last one. It will probably be out in sometime in December. So yeah, um, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you for at least this series the last time in our next time we come make this episode. But for now, I'm Jin.
And I'm Saki.
And this is the Casuals, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.